Hi everybody, Janine Truitt here with Ask Czarina. Hope all is well. I am checking in to share what I've been up to and also to discuss a few things HR related and otherwise. So, happy to actually share that the Aristocracy of HR has turned 3 as of September 13th. 3 years. I mean, that's crazy. I don't even know how I got to this point. I mean, I do know, but I really never would have thought in a million years that I would be blogging, let alone have a successful blog. So I am just completely grateful to the people that read and also support my writing consistently. So if you are somebody that reads consistently, or if you're somebody that's just kind of joined the aristocracy family, I thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my thoughts, and, just getting it out there to the masses. It's super awesome, and it's lent itself to me doing a lot of pretty cool things that I never thought I would be doing at this point in my career. So really, really grateful. And true to form, I did a HR tech series, which I typically do every year because my first blog post ever was an HR tech blog post. I always try to do an HR tech series, and this year I decided to go with a startup series. I was noticing when I was doing some research that there were just some phenomenal startups, HR tech startups, that are doing things a lot differently from what we typically know of HR tech or even an ATS system. Just some really innovative things. So I created this I Am Revolutionizing HR series and showcased 3 companies. One company called Intello, another called Unite, and another one called One Page Proposal. I would definitely look them up on Twitter or even Google them. They are all doing some pretty interesting things. One Page Proposal in particular actually has a platform where candidates can actually go in and present a proposal outside of their resume that actually addresses how they would deal with an actual company issue or problem. So in effect, it puts them to work before you actually ever hire them, and understanding how their mind works about solving business issues. So I think that's incredibly innovative and something that I would love to have in my work, because we're constantly looking for how somebody would think on their feet in a situation, and a lot of times you can't really get that from a resume. In fact, you really can't get that from a resume. It's just a list of tasks. So a platform like that to me is extremely helpful to HR people. And then you have Unite, that's also an app trying to kind of bridge the gap between the things people are responsible for from an organizational standpoint, while also balancing their obligations in life. And so they try to bridge that gap. And then Intello, great on the passive job seeker piece, whereby they have some technology that actually can tell you when a person may be ready to move from their position. So how valuable is that? I wish I had that 9 years ago when I was in staffing. It would have made my life a lot easier, and I would have probably done a lot less cold calls than I had to do at that time, which I hated, by the way. So if you didn't catch the series, definitely check out the blog, the Aristocracy of HR.com, to see what those companies had to say for the series. I'm pretty sure you'd enjoy it. So that's pretty much a bit about the blog. Outside of that, I had a pretty cool happening, in that 2 cool happenings. One, I spoke at the NYSHRM state conference. They actually asked me to come and speak there, which was pretty cool for them to even reach out and want me to come speak there. And so my presentation was on harnessing social talent to drive business outcomes. And we had a really, really good conversation during my session about exactly how you work and partner with your talent internally to be able to drive social initiatives for the organization. So, obviously a lot of that has to do with branding, but more of what I was speaking about was how you can actually drive talent management initiatives using and partnering with your current employees that are socially savvy. So we had some really good conversations up there, and I was really excited to kind of cross that off my bucket list as something that I've accomplished speaking at the New York State NYSHRM conference. So it was pretty cool. The other thing is this month I am in Black Enterprise magazine, which is huge, huge, huge for me. And I'm fairly sure just about anybody in my network could be getting tired of me speaking about it, but I'm going to continue speaking about it because it's huge and it's an accomplishment. And because I am a Black professional and I have read that magazine for so many years, I mean, years upon years, just trying to glean, some tidbits and lessons from the different things that they discuss. And so to grace their pages, and indeed I'm gracing the contents, the table of contents, as well as the actual article, which is called Increasing Education, Increasing Your Pay by Increasing Your Education. It's about basically how you can use education to ensure that your salary increases and your career prospects increase. And I go through some steps of things that I did in my own career to get me ahead. So from that perspective, it kind of brings me full circle in that I get to kind of look back and see all of the things that I did to get to where I am today, which, we don't really always take time to sit back and think about how we got to where we are. We kind of just go through the motions and keep going and going and achieving. But sometimes it's good to just kind of sit back and take stock of, how you got here and just relish the moment. And this is one of those things where I actually got to see in print how I arrived where I am today, and it's something to be proud about. It's definitely a pinch me moment and something to also tick off my bucket list. So if you have a magazine store, Barnes and Nobles or anything like that in your neighborhood, please, please, please go pick up a copy of this month's Black Enterprise magazine. I would greatly appreciate it. So speaking of, achievements and just feeling good about yourself and things that you're doing and how you're moving your career forward, I have recently encountered just a ton of backlash from, I should say, leaders, let's say. Leaders that are of the female persuasion. And I'm not exactly sure where the meanness or the maliciousness comes from, but I figured I'd address it here because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. And in fact, I know I'm not the only one that's dealt with this sort of thing before. But it's perplexing and it's disheartening that for as much of a feminist, if you want to call me that, or for as much as of a pro-female person as I am, like, I'm just genuinely happy to see any person in general do well, but even more so, I'm overly happy to see another woman do well, and I'll champion that to the day I stop working. It's perplexing for me to see other women try to cut other women down in the workplace. And we have our share of issues still we have so much further to go, whether it has to do with flexibility issues so that we can properly be the mothers, the partners, and etc. that we need to be in the household and still remain professionally relevant, to just having people take us seriously. It amazes me that time and time again I encounter women who are also leaders that try to come for me. Let's be honest. Try to come for me in the sense that they are either intimidated by me based on education, knowledge, skills, abilities, the gamut. And instead of seeing me as somebody that they should champion and be thankful for, in terms of having me on their team or somebody that can help their cause, it's an immediate, let me cut you down. Ladies, let's stop the nonsense. It's not working. It's not working. One, we're trying to still be recognized for our accomplishments, and this is what we're doing. We're still trying to promote ourselves, get ahead, get past pay equity issues, and this is what we're doing. It's so counterproductive. It just is. So if you're a leader and you've got somebody that's on your team that's rocking it, and somehow within you it makes you feel uncomfortable or insecure, please stop. Get a therapist, talk it out with a friend, have a conversation with yourself as to why you might be trying to cut your employees down. But by no stretch of the imagination is this how we do business. It just isn't. And it's not going to further our cause collectively to have leaders out here like this. Conversely, for people like myself or other women that may be going through this kind of thing, I offer some advice. And it's in 3 parts. So, number 1, maintain your professionalism. No matter what anybody says about you, tries to do to you, maintain your professionalism. It's difficult. And yes, you may want to snatch somebody from behind their desk. And yes, there are days when you might want to yell explicatives, which is really not encouraged in the workplace. But by all means, everything that you are, everything that you've worked for is really hinged upon your professionalism. So as much as you feel like you want to do those things maybe in the privacy of your own home or after work, but maintain your professionalism. Number 2 is keep your eye on the prize. There are just some people, whether that be a man or woman, but in this case I'm speaking about women specifically, that just don't want to see you do well, and they want to distract you. You know what you're here for. You know what you want to accomplish. Don't let them bring you down or take you out of your zone. Just keep moving forward and keep your eye on the prize. And 3, they're probably trying to drive you out. So if you've got a leader that's constantly on you, that's constantly ripping apart your work and so forth, it's probably time to go. One of the issues I've had in my career is maybe not catching those signs earlier, but I always catch it just in time. So I slip out right before that person's getting ready to come for me. But if there's anything I can impart on you, do see the writings on the wall. Do know when to get out of Dodge and start looking, because it's probably never going to work. Once they've got it in for you, it's just really not going to work for you. It's not going to bode well for you in that organization. And by the way, there's greener grass elsewhere. There's always opportunity. May not be immediately, may not be right on time with your timeline, but whatever it is, there's something out there for you, and it's better. And it doesn't entail you dealing with that kind of drudgery on a day-to-day basis, because Lord knows dealing with a bad boss or a boss that has ill intent for you and your career is a life suck. It sucks the life out of you. It's not necessary. It's unnecessary stress. So those are my 3 tips. that's what's going on in my world. Some of you may say, oh, well, why even share, Janine? Who's the person? Well, it doesn't really matter who the person is. The person knows who they are. But what matters is that I get it off my chest that we need to stop this kind of foolishness as women, and specifically as women in leadership positions. And I'm hoping that anything that I've said is helpful to somebody else that's going through it. So that's pretty much what's up with me. I'm getting back to basics on the blog, so you can expect some new things coming this week. I do have a new post out on Performance I Create about how to socialize change. So that dropped last Friday. So check out performanceicreate.com. And other than that, I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for tuning in and take care of yourself. Bye.